Right now, the gap between reality and fantasy, between the real world and the digital world, it's becoming a little bit more murky, isn't it? And that is something that we need to deal with. We can't ignore it. Change doesn't happen in leaps and bounds. It's a slow process until something like Corona comes along, right? And it sort of forces us to move with the times. But the times have been moving on anyway. Okay. The times have already been moving on with us, without us. And if we don't adapt, if we don't change, if we don't modify, if we don't take the opportunities that are presented with us, then the times is going to leave us behind. So right now we're called in the fourth industrial revolution. It's confusing because what it actually is, it's a digital revolution. Everything is going online, everything is reaching out, everything is now has to go from local to global. And you've all seen now live streams, you've all done now live talk shows, and all kinds of things. It's a digital world, and we need to adapt our thinking to start thinking digital. It's not enough to just go analog and this is wonderful, this is absolutely amazing, right? To have all these wonderful, amazing people here. But we can add the digital aspect by having a live stream and connecting this to not just a local aspect, but a global one as well. There are people right around the world that's watching this right now. You can make opportunity, doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter if you're from, I'm just from Dolphin Beach, I'm just from little old town of Swakopmund, I'm just from Windhoek, I'm just this, I'm just from here. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter because right now you are in this prime spot where the barrier to entry for so many different things have lowered. Sea shanties have now taken over the world. I didn't even know this was a thing until it just sort of pops up on my YouTube recommendation list. And now I can't stop seeing it. But who thought that just this little group of people could influence an entire world with something new, something different, something inspiring even? The barrier to entry has lowered significantly. We don't need to wait now for musicians to get discovered by some big record label. We don't, if you want to be a chef, the digital world is there for you. If you want to engage in more people with your knowledge of local events, local cultures, cultural exchange, there are people out there, 7.5 billion people, and I guarantee you, you're going to find people who's interested in what you have to say. You don't have to think, oh, no one cares about me in little old whatever, little old Timbuktu, little old Zimbabwe, little old whatever. If you have one of these terrifying technological terrors, you have the world in the palm of your hand. Reach out and engage. And the one thing that people get wrong about social media is, I'm just going to post a bunch of stuff and maybe something happens and maybe something doesn't. The entire idea of social media is to be social on social media. So it doesn't help me just post stuff. Ask questions, get engagement. One of the wonderful things that Atlantic Villa, as an example, does is they constantly ask for feedback. They're constantly getting people like this, share this. What are your thoughts about this? This is how you reach out and you connect to more people. It's not just look at me, what I'm doing, right? As cool as you are. It's how can I help you? How can I serve your needs? What do you want? If you are someone who loves to go out in the bush and explore different elements of nature, I guarantee you, if you put that online, there's going to be someone who wants to see what you have. There's 7.5 billion people on this planet. By the time I'm done talking, it's probably going to be 8 billion, right? There's going to be someone for you that wants to know what you have. And if you can teach someone a different skill, and if you have that mentality of, well, no one wants to hear what I have to say, then you're absolutely right. If you don't dare to dream, if you don't take that bold, little tiny step forward, to just get halfway out of the dark, nothing is going to happen. So usually when I ask, why aren't you doing this? And it's like, well, you know, it's Corona. It's Corona. Or, you know, I'm not getting the engagement or all kinds of things. So usually it's Corona, and before Corona, it was the economy. right? What was before the economy? No, it's the bank's fault. The banks, this and this and this. And before the banks, no, it's government's fault. It's actually always government's fault, right? It's always somebody's fault, somewhere else. The only person that's capable of change is you. The only person who's going to out there and reaching more people. If you want to be a writer, right, then write. If you want to speak, speak. If you want to be a chef, cook. For you, don't worry about, no one's going to read what I'm writing. No one's going to care if I am the most brilliant tomato on toast person, right? There's someone out there for you. I guarantee it. Just keep going. It's not the economy. It's not the government. Those elements play a factor, absolutely. But at the end of the day, it's you. You have to be bold enough to say, you know what, I am creative. I don't care who's told you what. If you are a finances, right, maybe being a creative accountant doesn't mean the same thing, but if you are in any sort of industry, you have the right to be creative. You can't afford anymore to say, it's not my job to be creative. Now that's for the people who wear two different kinds of shoes to work. That's not for me, right? No, everybody has the right to be creative. You have the right. You have the right to dare to dream. You have the right to engage on a social platform. You have the right to be social. And I get it. It's not the same as being in a room and talking to different people. I get it. It's not the same. It's different. It is different. And the next thing is going to be different to that as well. We don't have time anymore to sit back and relax. Say, yeah, well, maybe the economy is going to get better. Yeah, right? Hands up, in living memory, when was the economy perfect? Like anybody, right? In your living memory, can you remember anybody not complaining about the economy? Can you remember anybody saying, wow, the economy is so good to me? Wow, it's just like so nice. Yes, what I wouldn't do with my politicians working on our economy. Anybody? Right? I'm not seeing any hands. Maybe inventing someone. I don't know. Right? The fact is the economy is not going to change. Right? Usually when people say it's like, no, it's the economy. Then usually they go, stupid. It's the economy's fault, stupid. How dare you ask us a stupid question, you stupid person. Ah, okay. So it's not your fault. Of course not. That's too easy. Because when you have to look inwards, we have to sort of say, maybe I need to change. Maybe it's not the world that needs to change to me, but maybe I need to change to suit the entire planet. The world is changing all the time. One thing is going to remain constant, that the economy is not going to change. It's not. Maybe in 1 billion years from now, someone is going to say, you know what, maybe it wasn't so bad. But right now, the only person that can change, the only thing that can change, the only element that is changeable is you. I can't control the economy. I can speak on different topics. I can start a YouTube channel about something that interests me. I can talk to all kinds of different people all around the world. And I can earn income from it because now I'm not just focusing on little old Swakopmund. Because of my digital mindset, I have now engaged millions of people around the world. And I guarantee you there's someone out there for you. There's someone out there for everybody. Every sort of niche topic you could possibly think of. Right? It's not anymore. We can't afford to just stay stagnant. I don't care if you have a pizza shop. Teach people how to make pizza online. I guarantee you're going to get a following. If you want to go out and be an explorer, do that. Show people, involve them, reach them, be social on social media. The times change, and so must we. But the economy is going to stay the same. It's still going to suck 10 years from now. Still going to suck 20 years from now. And I guarantee we're still going to complain about the economy 100 years from now. There's no such time as perfect. The only time is now. Right now. Taking that step is all you have to do. Now, August over here. August, come over here. Okay? Just as a prime example of someone who loves to engage with different people, right? Late for everything, of course, right? But still, he is engaging and he loves being engaging and people want to know what August is doing. I follow August online, right? Not in person because he's everywhere, right? But August is an example of someone who wants to use his creative nature, his creative thinking, to reach a bigger audience. And there are people out there who see this young man's endeavor and wants them, it's like, I want you to use your knowledge, your experience, your willingness to succeed and be social to help my company to be social. Thank you, August. If you want to be social, be social. If you want to be a canoe, whatever people call drives canoes, you can do that. You can absolutely do that. You don't have to wait till some big bank decides, okay, I'm going to fund you now. We're actually having this discussion in the car that, you know, corporate responsibility. Yeah, okay. No, the banks needs to put in money because the banks earn money. The bank is a business. First of all, the bank is a business, right? They want a return on the investment. If you as an individual want to sponsor something, you want to get a return on your investment, on your time, on your... Be someone that's worth investing in. Be a company, organization. Be that one thing, that shining light in the dark that says, wow, I didn't even know there was someone who thinks like me. The times change. And if we don't change over, we're going to just stay here and just worry about the economy and blame everything else. So some imitate, some innovate. Very few do either very well. We need more creators. We need more content creators. We need more people who are inspiring and say, you know what, I recognize that things are slowing down. But I'm not just sitting behind and saying, okay, I'm out. I can't deal with this anymore. Times are tough. It's Corona's fault. It's your fault. It's this person's fault. I'm pointing you specifically, right? It's everybody else's fault behind every sort of injustice in my life. At the end of the day, you are responsible for you. And that's a tough thing to admit. That's very tough. So at the end of the day, say, you know what, maybe it's up to me. If it is to be, it's up to me. It's not easy. But at the end of the day, if you're not doing something, if you're just sitting with all those thoughts in your head, you're not doing anything, then at the end of the day, your thinking is what's keeping you poor. It's not the economy, it's not the banks, it's not the other people around you, it's you. Your thinking. If you are willing to change your way of thinking, to engage more, to recognize that there's probably more than life. If you want to be a writer, an artist, a musician, whatever, there's a digital world out there full of billions and billions of people who want to hear what you have to say, what you have to sing, what you have to do. But if you're just sitting around like, no one wants to hear me sing. No one wants to hear, no one wants to see my art. I'll just hide it somewhere and then live a lifeless dream that will never happen because I am not willing to take that tiny little step outside of the dark. Because I want to stay in my comfort zone because it's comforting. And I know it's comforting. That's why it's the comfort zone. But change and growth doesn't happen there. I'm not saying jump out of your comfort zone. I'm not saying be going out and shark dive or whatever, right? If that's what you do, by all means, right? But small incremental steps can add up to big change. The world doesn't change in leaps and bounds. It's a slow process. And every once in a while, something extraordinary happens, like a pandemic. All that means is we need to rethink what we're doing because we are all wonderful, amazing, creative people. And don't say you're not. Get taught how to laugh, how to dance. Then just do it. Just do it. Okay, I'm not a sponsor for Nike, right? Just do it. Just go out there and explore your creative nature. By all means, write, dance, express your creativity in any which way you please. And involve others in what you're doing. And I guarantee you will get a following. Whatever, it's not going to happen. Or we look at people who are well off and say, it's their fault. They should give all their money away because the corona, right? It's like, it's not your money. It's not your effort that you put in to get that. But we want all the time what other people have. They're thinking, what can I create that's uniquely and truly real? I guarantee you, if you want to start a training video in hospitality, there's someone out there who wants to start an Airbnb who needs what you know. out there somewhere in the boondocks with his maybe 5 people, but he wants to start a hospitality center, and they don't know where to start because maybe they don't have the finances, maybe they don't have the time, maybe they don't even have the opportunity to travel. But if you put your knowledge and experience online and you charge a small fee for them to access it, because no one can be you. It's not about if everybody does the same thing. No one can do the same thing because no one is you. Don't worry about how many channels there are on fitness. Don't matter how many people do cooking online or how many artists or writers there are. There's no one like you. No one thinks like you. No one acts like you. Be uniquely you. That's what creativity is all about. It's about seeing things through a new lens that sort of fits to you. If I were to go now, and who wears glasses? You. Okay. Can I just change glasses quickly? If I were to look at the way, if I want to see what he sees, and I put on these glasses, okay, and if he tries my glasses, no, he's swapped glasses. Okay, hang on. Okay, right? It's not gonna work, right? Because it's not me. It's not the way you. Okay. Okay. Yeah. No. Thank. Right. I can see the world only through my own lenses. I can only see the way I see things. I can't see the way he sees things. Doesn't matter how much I try. Doesn't matter what change I do in my glasses, in my perspectives. But if I can reach out to him and I start a conversation and I say, what do you think about this? How would you approach this? What are you thinking right now? Right? The dreaded fear of every man when a woman asks him that. What are you thinking? I don't know. Wasn't thinking anything. No, it's honestly, it's as easy as that. Reach out and be social. Social distancing, keep in mind. Right? No, you can reach out and you can have the wonderful and amazing connection that Annette has, that Buttons has, that August has, right? That Danielle has. Everybody has something that they can offer. But if we're just going to say, no one wants to hear me talk. No one cares about Hafeni and his tourism. There's an entire world out there that wants to know what he's doing. There's an entire planet out there that has that willingness. And when you've done something cool, tell them about it. And tell them how you did it. That's how following happens. It's not about people out there just doing random things. It's about people connecting to other people. Companies come and go. But we always remember people. People inspire us. They change us. They motivate us to change the world around us. Anybody here ever had someone who was influenced, that was of influence to you when you grew up, right? Your mom, your dad, someone you aspired to, a mentor, someone who challenged your thoughts and said, maybe you're thinking about this the wrong way. But as soon as we grow up, we just discard all the stuff that we had and just say, no, I know everything already. Don't tell me anything. You know, your typical 18-year-old after grade 12. It's like, I know everything when I walk into a job and earn $30,000 to $40,000 a month. It's like, okay, good luck. We have to allow ourselves time to change. It doesn't happen in leaps and bounds. I know talking in front of a camera is not easy for everybody to do. It's not easy for me, and I talk in front of 1,000 people, but that thing over there, it's a very alien sort of thing. It's got no emotions, it's got no smells, it doesn't even... Right? So usually I gauge my audience by 2 laughs a minute. Like the thing doesn't give me anything. So it's uncomfortable to start. It's always going to be uncomfortable to start. It's always going to be challenging. Always. No one just walks up and does it automatically. It takes practice. It takes experience. And most importantly, it takes that willingness to take that step. Just one step. And then the next tiny little step. And before you know it, you've took 10 steps. You've took 100 steps. But you're never going to get anywhere. Just say, no. No one wants to know what I think. I'll just watch TV and I'll just watch Survivor or whatever and look at other people doing things. If you're not willing to engage other people, and I know there's downsides and there's upsides to everything. I know that things happen and you feel afraid, but if you're not willing to step outside and you just close yourself off in this little bubble, nothing's going to happen. Creativity doesn't happen in a bubble. We have to reach out. We have to make more bubbles and combine those bubbles and make bigger bubbles. And before you know it, you've got waves. I'm probably mixing my metaphors. Before you know it, you've made a difference in at least one person's life. But you have the right to earn an income. You have the right to be able to say, I've put in the knowledge, I've put in the years of work. You have the right to engage and be compensated for it. You have that absolute right. But you also have the right to stand up and say, this is me. I'm willing to be creative. I'm willing to do something. I'm willing to just take that small step. Because the world has changed. We can't just wait for people to come to us anymore. It's a difficult world now. All those people will until the economy gets better. We'll just wait until everything's in line. It's not going to happen. There's not going to be a perfect time. I know it's crazy. I know it's difficult, right? And I know that it's a very tough ask to put yourself out there. But if you're not willing, then nothing's going to change. And if nothing's changed in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years, and you're thinking that time passes by so quickly, what happens then? And all it took from you was to just take that one tiny step, not giant leaps, just a tiny step and say, this is me. Just picking up this technological terror from my pocket now. No, it's over there, right? And just saying, I'm willing to try. I might stumble, I might fail once or twice or 15,000 times, but I'm willing to get up just one extra time, just one more time. I'm willing to engage the world with my knowledge and my experience. I'm willing to try, in the very least. I wrote 6 books before my first one got published, right? And everyone was like, oh, wow, what a wonderful book. Yes, how lucky you are to get your book published. Like, yeah, lucky, work, yeah, okay. There were 6, it was admittedly very, very bad books, looking back at it, right? Yes, I poured my heart and soul into those 6 books that got rejected. They were very nasty rejection letters, by the way, right? So it's like, maybe you should try a more active voice. It's like, what do you mean? You have to go back and you have to readjust, and then you write the next book, or you try again, or you fall off your bicycle and you get up again. Imagine now if you were a child and your parents just didn't allow you to fail. And as soon as you just try to walk and you stumble, it's like, no, this kid is defective, right? We need to change the baby. No, this kid can't even walk, man. Huh? No, I need another one. Can we get a refund? It's like, it's been 9 months. Can we get a refund? We have to allow for failure. We have to allow ourselves to stumble every once in a while, to maybe get someone else to support us just a little bit, for just a little while, until we're ready to diverge, until we're ready to just stand a little bit on our own. But we're always going to come back. We're always going to converge again and connect with those people who helped us along the way. But if you're not even willing to stand up just a tiny little bit, then you're going to remain crawling all your life, because you have to dare to dream. You have to have that childhood innocence that we've lost somewhere along the way. I say, I don't care. I'm going to stick this Lego up my nose, and I don't care what anybody has to say. I don't care what anybody has to say. This box is now an alien spaceship, and I'm going to go to the moon. The most important things in history has been done because someone just decided to do it. Even though everybody was against you, you decided to do it anyway. But all you need is just one person to say, yeah, okay, I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to read what you've written. I'm willing to watch what you've done. There's one person to believe in you. And before you know it, you've got an army behind your back, willing to stand with you. And as soon as you stumble, they will be there to pick you up, because you were honest and open and authentic. Because you were you. You didn't try to be someone else. You didn't try to swap glasses and say, I'm now Peter Johannes Lagrens, right? From Usikos. I can only be Brant, right? I can only be me. I can only do things the way I would do things. I can adapt and I can modify and I can be better versions of myself. But at the end of the day, I still have to be me. And people will follow what I have to do because they like me. Most people, right? You can't please anybody. You can't please everybody. That's fine, right? That's okay too. Some people will love you. Some people will hate you. But the worst position to be in is just, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, okay. That's not exciting. right? You will have people who say, yes, have this person on the planet, right? I love that guy. So cool. Everyone's like, oh, I hate that guy. It's like he's awful. But no one will go, oh, Gerrit is just fine. Yeah. No, you will have people who will be on your side. You will have people who will be not on your side. That's okay. That's good. You want to be in that position, but you don't want to be bland and uninteresting. You need to unboring your life. And I guarantee you, each and every one sitting here has something that inside of them they thought, maybe this is a good idea, but I'm not willing to talk about it. Maybe if they sign like a non-disclosure agreement and, we set up a contract and maybe I can share it. It's not how creativity happens. We have to share it. We have to be bold. Maybe that idea flourishes. Maybe you get a different idea just by expressing it. But sitting around and waiting for inspiration, it doesn't work. I can tell you now, having written 4 business books and 3 novels, creativity is, you can't wait for creativity to happen to you. It just, if your money is tied to you writing, you need to put in that 2,000 words a day, regardless if you feel like it or not. Right now, we have to work. We have to do things on a digital scale that connects people to people. We have to be a influence into the new world. And you have the right to be compensated for it, absolutely, because that is your creative property. But you don't have the right to just say, no, I'm not going to support you because I couldn't do it. That's not your right. It's your right to try and fail. It's not your right to pull other people down. And so if someone here starts a cooking channel, I will follow you, absolutely, right? I will click subscribe button, right? I've got a YouTube channel, by the way, if you want to subscribe to it, right? Now, look, I will read what you have to write. I will look at what you have painted. I want you to succeed. And you need at least one person on your side, and that will be me. If you just need one person, I will be there. If you just need one person just with an open mind, say, look, just read what I have to write, or just look at this painting. Just tell me it's crap, it's fine. Just tell me it's crap. Just look at it. I like it. What I like is this and this and this. What you can improve upon, maybe look at this or look at this. But I will never say it's like, this is terrible. Please, just get out of my sight. I can't. Yeah, no. Everybody has the right to be creative. Everybody has the right to share who they are, what they feel. But you don't have the right to. It's not how creativity happens. The future is loading. It's loading now. It's always happening. It's always now, always on. And we are in a world now where everything is always on. We are always on. Everything's happening right now. The speed of outrage is what I'm calling it, right? I'm not sure if that's trademarkable, but still. Conclusions now. As soon as something happens and we just go mad on social media, be different. Don't just be the person who just attacks and attacks and attacks. Be creative. Be you. Reach out and connect. Be that uplifting voice. And if something bad happens, own up to it and just say, I'm sorry. I'll try again. But if you want to change with it, there's a reason why cavemen don't exist anymore. Well, depending on your view, right? There's a reason that the world has passed them by. There's a reason why we're now in the 4th industrial revolution, because we have to change with it. We can't just sit around and wait for time to catch up with us, because it's not going to. At the moment, without any sort of knowledge or experience, wanting to do a marketing campaign with no sort of experience, it's sort of like looking for a black cat in the dark. Right? Actually, it's a bit worse. Because if you're not willing to try, is that for me? No, okay. Okay. If actually it's not worth it, because if you're not willing to try, it's like being blindfolded and not even there. That's how bad it is if you're not willing to try. You're just sitting around in the dark, blindfolded. Politicians to get a grip. It's not going to happen. Right? And if it does happen, I'm willing to be proven wrong. But times change and we need to change with it. And that means being social on social media. That means going global. That means teaching others what you have, what your knowledge is, and building other companies to be an influence in the world. There's no such thing as it's only my way. It's not going to work. if you're not willing to open your mind and say, I'm willing to try, I'm willing to open up a, a, a phone call for me. I'm willing to try something new. I'm not even sure if it's going to succeed. Afeni, did you start off with a big, uh, uh, okay, it's fine. It's for Afeni, okay. No, okay. Did you start off being successful? No, right? How did you start off? And you learn from them, right? But I want to know what if I see Buttons is successful, instead of saying, "Oh, Buttons, he's such a terrible person," right? I haven't been able to do what he does, so he's just such a terrible person now. I'm saying, instead of having the guts to call Buttons up, say, "Look, I've seen you've been doing this and these sort of things. Would you be willing to just sit down with a coffee and talk about it? Maybe there's something I can learn from you." That's all you have to do. Is just reach out and connect to other people. I'm going to shout now. Sorry. It's really something. It's easy as that. I know it's difficult. I know it takes a gutsy approach to just call someone up and say, that thing that you said the other night. Can we have more of a discussion about that? It's like, I want to be a professional speaker. Like, then call me up and say, okay, Brian, how do I start? Right? Just have a coffee and I'll explain it gladly for you. It takes work. I'm not going to lie to you. It takes work. It takes the dedication. And some days you're going to feel like I just don't want to do it. But change doesn't happen in leaps and bounds. Just by one post, it's not going to go and everybody wants to come to your door and take advantage of your services. It just doesn't work. There are upsides and downsides to everything that we do. The good thing is you can reach a global audience of what you have to know and have to share. That's the good side. The bad side is there's terrible people on the internet as well. There's terrible people around you anyway. And I've had stalkers that sent me pictures that did not coincide with what I wanted. Be delicate there, right? You block them, right? Don't engage in negativity, because you can't be creative and be negative at the same time. It doesn't work. It's like being scared and bored at the same time. It's not going to work. It doesn't work. There's two opposites. The same way you can't be creative and can't be negative. Being negative about everybody else around you is not going to help you succeed. All it is just building a deeper hole for your negativity. You can't build a better hole. You can't build different holes by digging the same hole deeper. And that's what negativity does. If you're looking for treasure and you're digging and you're digging and you're digging and you're just digging the same hole deeper, instead of thinking, maybe I should expand. Maybe we should try different holes, different tools, different ways of looking at things. But negativity is just a bottomless pit. And I get it, we're all going to be negative at some point, right? Pick up the phone or Skype or Zoom or whatever, right? And talk to someone and say, I just need some advice here. I just need someone to be on my side. Just listen to what I have to say. That's all it takes. And right now we need to be in a world that's taking us digital. That means your website, your branding, it needs search engine optimization, which is just a fancy word for being discoverable. In the old days, we had a phone book, right? If you're too young, ask your parents, right? We had a phone book that listed your services and everything in it, with your number and all kinds of stuff, right? We had this book, nice book, right? But what is something I paid through the book? The book is this thing, it's built on paper. So if you don't know, right, I can't help you, right? But now the web is your phone book. If I want to take part of your services, if I want to engage in your services, you need to be able to be found. If your business is not online, it might as well not exist. We've got so many free tools right now, Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, all these different things, that if I just search for what I want, if I want someone to do team building, I put in team building, Swakopmunt, this is our type, right? So team building, Swakopmunt, and connect people to people, show up. If I'm looking for a good place to stay, right, Bayview Hotel in Dolphin, or Atlantic Villa in Swakopmund, right? You have to be able to be found, is the point here. But if you're not online, you might as well not exist. If you're not engaging in social media by being social, then there's no point to it. Then you might as well print out some posters and put it up at Spa. That's the same level of engagement you're going to get. You might get a phone call, maybe two, millions of people to take advantage of. what gets measured gets maintained, right? So analytics is nothing more than just optimizing to be able to understand where your audience is from, what their interests are, what they're looking for in a place. And then when you customize your marketing, you understand who these people are. So when someone tells me, it's like, I ask, who's this for? No, it's for everybody. Like, oh, okay. That's a terrible thing to say, right? Because not everybody's going to take part of your services. Not everybody can afford it. Not everybody wants it. Not everybody cares, right? So when you're doing your marketing, when you're thinking about marketing, you need to understand who's going to buy this. If I put up an event for 10,000 US dollars, right? That's 1 hour long. I need to know who's going to buy it. Otherwise, what's the point? Otherwise, again, it's just printing a poster and putting up at Spa, right? Or ShopRite or wherever. Because the people who buy at ShopRite is not going to spend 10,000 US dollars on your event. If you want to go fishing, go with a fisher. Doesn't help you cast a line in the desert. It's not going to be fish there, right? Know where your audience is, know what's happening, know how to be social, know how to engage them. And branding. Branding is very important, right? If there is nothing on this building, could I find it? If there's nothing to distinguish you from somebody else, can I find you? If it's PayBuddy, right? That smile, that logo, you instinctively know it's PayBuddy or TravelBuddy or whatever hell you've got. Like so much, right? Brand yourself. You are a brand. Your thoughts, your energy, your creativeness, it's a brand that you can brand and you can package it. Like right now, this is a product, right? When I speak in front of crowds and all kinds of things, my workshops, I present you a product. I would much rather be at home reading Sherlock Holmes than be here, right? But change doesn't happen in my comfort zone. It doesn't happen just by wanting it to happen. You have to get up and do something. Just do it, right? If you look at Oliver, he's all over the place, right? I'm pretty sure he's cloned himself, right? I don't know. They're doing studies of cloning in Germany. He's German. I don't know. 1 + 1 = 3 here, right? Because no one can be that busy all over the place and still have time to answer my emails and my WhatsApps. So one of them is here tonight, right? Thank you, whichever one, right? I'm not saying you have to be the next Oliver. I'm not saying you have to be the next August Russ or whatever. I'm saying be you, being uniquely you. Your smile, your laugh, your eyes. If you need glasses, if you need contacts. You think, I'm too overweight, I'm too slow, I'm too this, I'm too old. Excuse, excuse, excuse. There's a lady that's 93 years old, I think, at the moment, that's playing Skyrim on YouTube. Right? I like her videos. I don't care that she's 93 or whatever, right? I like what she has to do. And millions of other people do too. Skyrim's a game, by the way, if you don't know, right? So it's a television game. Anyway, computer game. This woman is 93 years old, and she's willing to put herself out there. And yeah, you're gonna get some haters, but you're gonna get a lot of positive people too. Just be you. Feiny, don't be Buttons, don't be Brunt, right? Because I'm Brunt. Don't you dare be me. Be you. No one is like you. No one thinks like you. No one looks like you, talks like you, walks like you. That sounds like a Disney song, right? So it's important to be you, because people like people that I guarantee will like what you do as well. But it takes a little bit of guts and one tiny voice in your head that says just one more step. Do something extraordinary. You don't have to do the extraordinary all the time. You just need to do the ordinary extraordinarily well, consistently. Consistency is the long run. You get your one-hit wonders, and that's nice, right? But you want to make an influence over a long period of time. So be consistent in what you do. Talk to someone, with another individual, and just ask, what can I do to help you? What can you do to offer me? What can we build together? It's not impossible to engage. We just decide on a digital scale start a tiny little step and just encourage yourself. We've got an entire world in the palm of our hands now, and most of us just use it to poke each other on Facebook. I don't even know if that's a thing, right? This thing has more processing power than all the computers combined that put a man on the moon. I use it to WhatsApp and send voice notes, right? And maybe once in a while calculate a tip. You can be more, you can do more by using the tools that you already have. I'm not saying invest millions. I'm saying start small, grow big. Start local, grow global. Reach out and touch someone, not like that. Social distancing, remember? Okay. Be you, and people will love you for it. Right? Even if the Kardashians, they're famous for being famous, but people like them. I don't get it, right? Not my cup of tea, but there are millions of people that like what they do, which I'm not entirely certain of, right? Whatever you do, whatever you decide to do, if you are engaging and you want to do it, there will be people out there who want to know what you have. You could be the worst singer in the history of singing. Like it. And sometimes the more you listen to something, the more you like it. The more you do something. Be social, engage, interact. There's so many different elements, and I can send you my slides if you want to. There's workshops, there's public speaking, there's networking events. You can make money just about anywhere if you're willing to look for the opportunity. If you're willing to engage and ask, how can I help you? Do you need someone to come in and do team building? Do you need someone to teach your people how to engage and look for solutions rather than problems? And call up brands and say, how? Do an active campaign on marketing, social skills, right? Do you need someone to help you in tourism and industry? Reach out and connect. There are platforms, there are people out there that's already doing something and happy to help you build something too. Because the best thing about they are so willing to help you because they know what it means for someone to help someone else. Because at some point in time, they were at the exact same position. With 0 subscribers, 0 likes, 0 comments, no money in the bank. At some point in time, everybody's in that same situation. But if you just stay there, because it's comfortable, it's comfy being warm and alone in the dark, because that's where I'm comfy. Or sitting on a beach, but that's not where change happens. Change happens in the moment. The future is already happening, just not evenly distributed yet. And the time is now. My mom used to say, when I asked her, Mom, what's the time? There was an answer me, the time is now, which infuriated me as a child, right? Because I actually wanted to know, is it 10 past 7? Am I late for school? Am I early? What's happening, right? But she would always answer, the time is now. And that really just frustrated me as a child. But growing up as an adult, I understand that the time is always now. Now is the time. If you want to act, act. If you want to do something, do something. There's never going to be a perfect time. The economy is not going to get a grip. It's not going to be the bank's fault. It's not going to be the area's fault. It's not going to be because you're sitting in soccer boot. It's going to be up to you. And only up to you. If you're ready to make a change. If you're ready to take that half step out of the dark. And try something new. Be bold. Be brave. Challenge yourself. And maybe something extraordinary will happen. It might take a little bit of time. You might stumble and fall. But if you get up again, I guarantee you, success will reach you. And that's the end. If there are questions. Okay, thank you. Oh, thank you. If you have questions, comments, complaints, right? Direct complaints to Oliver. Comments, that's fine. Questions, I love questions. Questions, complaints to Oliver. No questions, really? Someone asked me a question? Yes, August, thank you for the question.
How do you find creativity if your mind is blocked? Most times when you're under stress, you only...
Okay, so again, creativity, inspiration, 90% pain, 90% perspiration. When I was a writer, the most common question was, how do you get your ideas? And I would answer honestly, I steal it. Yeah, I steal it from 1,000 different places and then change a little bit here and there and add my own uniqueness to it. But at the end of the day, it's a very Western belief that something comes from nothing. Nothing comes from nothing. If you're seeing what Atlantic Villa or Destination or anybody is doing, and you think that's cool, let's ask them to help me do the same. That's how ideas happen. It doesn't happen in a bubble. It doesn't happen just sitting around and waiting for inspiration to hit sometime at some point, maybe possibly. Even if I was dead tired, I still had to write my 2,000 words a day because I needed the money and I need to work. So just waiting for inspiration to happen. Even though I write 10 pages of absolutely nothing but horrendous prose, right? I still have to write because I can always edit it later. I can always go back and change and fix and be better next time. But I can't wait around and wait for something to happen. It just doesn't work. More questions? Buttons, yes, thank you for the question. Okay, thank you. Very good question. How do you, right? You're not going to do it alone, right? If you are, well done to you. But you've got friends, you've got family, you've got people around you willing to help you succeed. That's where it lies. It doesn't help just trying to do this all on my own, because I guarantee you, no one who's ever successful has done it all by their lonesome. There was always someone there who believed in them, who helped them, who supported them. Reach out and help someone to help you as well. Stand together. So if you're feeling down, if you're feeling a bit somber in mood, if you're feeling a bit, let's say, depressed, right? Call someone up and say, you know, just have a coffee with me and go from desperation to inspiration. We just as a side note, Patsy and I developed a program to go from despair to hope. That's an online virtual team building program, just like punting it out there. Thank you. If you're looking for something to do, if you're looking for change, if you're just looking for someone to talk, you know, I'm on the socials. I don't really do Twitter that much, mostly because I can't limit it to 140 characters. Whatever I have to say has to be at least 40 minutes. But Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, connect with me, and I'll gladly talk to you. I'll gladly read what you have to say, have to write, and hear what you have to say. Just buy me a coffee, and I'll call it square. Not a Coke, because apparently they're not all culturally insane. More questions, comments, again, complaints to Oliver? No. No. So one of the problems is that people think they need to spread themselves so thin. I would suggest rather get good at least 2 or 3 of the platforms and understand what they're for. So Instagram is very photo driven. Facebook is more for all the, let's say, 35 upwards. Instagram is more younger generation. LinkedIn is business to business. So if you're trying to sell your business to another business or sell your services to another business, LinkedIn is probably the platform. Most of my income, not my income, but my connection lead to income goes through LinkedIn, because the CEOs don't do Facebook. So understand where your income is coming from. But the people who see it and then move it upwards, maybe they're on Facebook or Instagram. So I would say only do 2 or 3, get really good at it. Then later on, you can discuss automation programs. There's a program called Hootsuite, and there's a bunch of others that will allow you to automate and schedule things. So if you don't have the time, I usually just sit around on a Sunday and like 2 hours and just schedule like a month's worth of content and just let it run. Unless something really catastrophic happens, like the whole Coca-Cola insanity, and then I have to adjust and I have to just jump in and do something. But ultimately, just get good at 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 and just get really good at it, understand it. And then eventually, when you're so comfortable with it that it doesn't even take you a second thought to go live, then maybe add a different platform. But you don't have to be all the time, all the way. You're not Oliver, okay? No one can be, unfortunately, right? You don't have to be everywhere all at once. Just pick something that you're very good at, adapt and build it up. Even if it's YouTube, whatever, you just do it consistently and you'll get results. More questions?
people are there to do that. All you have to figure out is find people, and then you can delegate their little tasks. So instead of figuring out how it works, you can at least have people that actually have that software that works for you. That's Instagram or Facebook, and then the other apps you're not comfortable with, they can actually help you with that. I think also help because that's why you have to be in the bubble where you know this is your company, but how can you actually work around that company? You know, with the links you have, I think that's
Right. So as August said, you don't have to do it yourself. There are companies out there that specialize in digital marketing and marketing campaigns. There's also a suite of services online dedicated to client relationships and management and all kinds of things. I can't think of any particular one right now. I know I use one consistently, but I can't remember what it's called. That basically just schedules posts and manages the database and all kinds of backends for me. So I would suggest start small and then grow big. If your return on investment, meaning your time to start off with, is paying off, then try and scale it. But don't go big all of a sudden because, again, change doesn't happen in leaps and bounds. It has to happen step by step by step. Because everybody wants to jump to the end where everything's all well and good and successful, but nobody wants to take the stairs to get there. Unfortunately, sometimes something comes along and a big wind just blows you from the very top down to the very bottom. Now you're just massively in debt and you've wasted your time and all kinds of things. Whereas if you've done your search engine optimization, meaning just, your keywords, what you want to talk about, all kinds of things that I can talk about, but focus on the analytics, understand your client market, understand your customer profile, all these different steps you have to take to get to the top. It doesn't matter what comes along, you'll just be knocked down one step or two steps, but you won't be knocked down from here down here. So where to start? Start small, even if it's just with Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or Periscope or TikTok or whatever. Yeah, TikTok is a thing. I don't get it, but people do, right? But there are people who are making money from TikTok who just invested the time to understand how it works. I'm not willing to invest that time yet. I don't care about TikTok right now. But maybe someday I'll start singing on TikTok. Okay, next question. Other question. Did that solve the question? Did that answer the question at least in part? Oh, nice. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I think a blog is nice because if you do it consistently and you get enough viewership, you can then apply for Google AdSense and start advertising on your blog and all kinds of things. I would say go with the Fisher. Start with Facebook. If you already have a large group of friends on Facebook, start there. Create a group, maybe create a business page on Facebook. Invite your friends, invite your enemies, invite your friends' enemies, right? To like it, and you'll start building up something, and that's where it happens. And then later on, you can move to your own blog, to your own Shopify cart, and all kinds of things. But again, go fishing where the fish are, right? Okay, so usually I do both. So usually you can download a transcript of my speeches or my talks or whatever. But I would say do both, because I can read faster than I can listen. Even when I play it back by 2x speed, which I do all the YouTube videos, is that I can read it faster than I can listen. So even if I just want the information quickly, I'll read it first, because it takes me 30 seconds to read a 2-minute video. Yeah, so also your engagement will go up because people will spend longer time either reading it or listening to it or watching it. So even if you do a YouTube video, you can take out the audio and you can do a podcast from it. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel and be constantly generating new ideas. Take one idea, like even I do an interview series called Mind Melt that it's on YouTube, but also I take out the audio from it, at least bits of it, and I sell it to Australian radio services. And that usually gives me a nice income. And they play it because it's something that they're important and all kinds of things. So There's multiple avenues. You can even then run it through a transcription service. Again, I use one and I can't think of the name now. That just basically analyzes it and then gives you a transcription of it. Then you just need to sort of like correct, which is usually easier. Again, if you just one person, start small. Don't go in spending millions and billions and trillions and Brazilians of dollars on something. Just start small, what you can do now. Schedule what you can't do. And then once you see a return on investment, at this point in time would be your time, then yeah, then you can start saying, okay, it's worth my time to expand this, so I'm going to invest some money. But don't just go and throw money into it, because it usually doesn't work. Or it does work for a very limited time. And while money will open a lot of doors for you, once the money is dry, those doors are just as easily shut. Which sounds depressing, but it's like, it's people. More questions, comments? Afeni.
Greetings, sir.
Hello.
Thank you very much. Very informative platform. And my question goes to, I've been an entrepreneur. July will be 10 years.
Wow.
So, from my experience, as I continue to evolve as an entrepreneur, I realize that you are more in coaching as well.
Yes.
Entrepreneurs need coaches, a coach, to be very successful, because you're very busy. You're very busy, but sometimes you get too busy, really too busy and everywhere. And how do you find the right, like team, background team, and who are they? What do they look like?
Right. So usually I work with
But do you have a formula?
do I have a formula? No. I've got a test. I've got some tests that I do. Usually it's like the NBI or even the human brain dominance instruments and all kinds of things that I test people. Or usually I just give them a problem to solve. I don't just hire people. First of all, I look through their Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and all kinds of things to understand who they are. Usually sometimes a lot of racism comes up and it's like, no, thank you. I don't need this. Usually people, if you don't have a filter on your social networks, right, and just like any garbage that comes in your head and you just spill it out there, then you're not the right person for me. Also, I need people who think not like me, because I can think like me, so I don't need more people to think like me. I need people who think differently. I need people to have the drive to succeed, but also have the mindset for business. So a lot of times, I really don't care about all the little, I don't care about people. That sounds terrible. But I don't care if you hurt your toe, on the way here. I really couldn't care, right? But I need someone to care. Someone who's part of my team and make sure the brand is happening, all kinds of things, to make sure that brand cares. At least like it looks like it does. I know this sounds terrible, but to me, I can't be the person who walks down the street and greets everybody, 20 different people from year to day, and knows their granny is sick and, their mother's brother's secret lover, in Australia is not doing well. I don't have the patience nor the temperament for that sort of thing. But I need someone to do that, right? I need someone to engage with other people and who wants to be social. I know a lot of companies will actually hire someone to do just their socials, just someone to connect with other people. Usually I can't think of something to say, right? So then I just start talking and words come out and they think, okay, that's cool. But if I have someone on my team who actually understands that sort of behavior, then that's the sort of person I need. I need people who care about other people. Not that I don't care about people, but I care about the long-term aspects more than I care about the individual feelings usually. And sometimes I need someone to take charge and say, you know what, this invoice is 3 months overdue. I'm going to report you now or whatever. I don't want to do that. So I need people who think differently than me and who aren't racist and aren't crazy on social media, because I can't deal with that sort of energy. Just like, yeah, no. Yeah, so if you need a team, test them. Don't just hire because they've successfully dressed up for an interview. Look through their socials, look what they've done, look what they're doing. Ask them some questions like, what do you want to do in the next year? What are your big, hairy, audacious goals? It's like, if they just like, oh, I didn't think of it. Like, do you have no passions? I want people who are passionate about what they do and want to and to help me develop my passion for creativity, innovation, and helping other people to be more creative. I need people to help me do that. I can't do it on my own. I'm just one person, and I'm not Oliver who can be all the places all at once, right? Yet I'm gonna get there at some point, right? But I don't have that energy. Did I answer your question? Okay. More questions? Okay. Then I think we'll say good night, goodbye, good luck, Godspeed, all those G words, and have a fantastic evening. And look, just ask me questions. You don't have to ask it in a public forum. Just ask me online, send me an email, or just catch me up and say, hey, you. It's like, I'll know it's me. I say, hey, you. It's like, yes, it's Bront. Okay. And then ask me a question. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Bront.
you.